Welcome to That Moto Show, the only show that tech podcast that rock.
Welcome to the only tech podcast that smells like race gas and sounds like freedom. That Moto Show.
We'll talk about that in a minute. So as you notice, there's no Donnie. We're a remote show. Donnie did have knee surgery. We talked about that last time. He was going to have it. He had it. He's doing fine.
Oh, good.
He's ridden twice.
He's really already
Cool. Last week and this week. Yeah, today. He rode today. So he's gotten a couple rides in. So things are looking on the up there. So, get better, Donnie. So then you can go on our big trail ride later. So fun time up here. This is my first mountain trail ride of the season. Did that yesterday. We have some really good footage we can throw in here for those that are watching. If you're listening, you just have to trust us that it was amazing. What I like about the mountain rides early in the season is everything's green, not quite as dusty. Trails are in better condition, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And in most places, guys are out there getting them cleared off pretty early, so that's nice. We appreciate all the trail clearers. I wish I lived close and could help more. Spencer does get out and help with trail clearing. We talked about a spot on the trails yesterday where they can go do some repairs. Him and Jack, the guy that went with us.
Yep.
We talked about that. They need to bring a shovel and some other things. We had some ideas on doing to help fix up some of the trails on that area. So I hope you guys can do that in the next few weeks. So
yep.
Get out
before you ride them again.
Yes.
You want them fixed for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a safety thing too. Some of them were more of a safety deal.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to kind of try to have as normal of a show as we can, even though we're outside. Hopefully it all sounds good for you guys. Before we get too far, I want to remind you guys that you guys need to email us your questions and also go to Rocky Mountain, our link from our site, our link tree. If you're going to buy any parts, we appreciate that. And I also want to thank, I've been out the track a bunch lately, and I get guys coming up to me all the time and thanking me for that. Feel free to do that. I appreciate it. It's kind of cool. Guys come up and say thanks and all that and hi, and so that's kind of cool.
I saw you changed someone's tire pinch tube the other day at Glen Helen, right?
Yeah. Don't give, yeah. But
or was that Kuya?
It was at Glen Helen.
Okay.
That day. But he had a tube, yeah. And someone sent him over and goes, yeah, Jay can do it. And it was a practice day, so there's no other. Now, if EMT in Southern California does the tires at the races, so if they're out there,
sure.
Yeah, they can do it.
They can do it.
But this guy,
yeah.
It was going to kind of ruin the rest of his practice.
The goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the new song, what are we calling the song? What's the name of it?
That Moto Show?
That Moto Show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I helped come up with some lyrics, and Spencer did some work with the AI.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's been toying with that, and it's pretty fun. Some of our recent videos have some of that stuff worked in. We have another one coming out with I tested a carburetor in a 50, and it's really cool little vibe. So he's coming up with some good music. I'm digging it. A little bit of rock that's,
some instrumental, good stuff.
Yeah.
There's not that much 80s hair metal that sounds.
I don't like that term.
I know what
rock.
Okay,
rock.
80s rock.
There we go.
80s rock. That sounds. That's instrumental. There's only one per album.
Well, a lot of people don't realize, because I get guys asking me, why don't you have music? They don't understand that you can't.
Yeah, so
we can't have music on YouTube.
And for people who are mad at us, there's some people who don't like AI, but at the same time, we can't use real music.
We can't have Def Leppard on here.
We can't have Def Leppard or anybody that's a real artist that sounds, what we usually listen to. So we have to find a middle ground, which is some AI music and other things. So
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah. We're gonna make more, and I have some ideas on some.
I bet you do.
Yeah. All right. So I think we'll get right to some YouTube comments before we get talking about races. Yeah. So first thing right here, this is from show 33. This is I Can't Drive 55. That was a cool show. Mm-hmm. Me and Donnie, and that was referring Sammy Hagar. This is from Austin Connor. I watch and listen to every show when they come out. I wish you guys had one every day. However, everyone knows that. None of us have the time for that. We have to go riding.
Yep.
All right.
David Canolis says 4 strokes are for lazy riders. Just kidding. There are dirt bike riders, so they're still cool.
But I have to agree. 4 strokes are Well,
especially motocross.
Even trail riding, like easy trails. I think for me, yesterday on the trails, I was noticing how much easier the 350 is in a lot of sections
than a 300 or a 250.
Yeah. that
I mean,
uphill
yeah.
yesterday that was a little bit tougher. One of the uphills where we went by the creek where the dead
Yes, yeah,
elk
yeah.
was years ago. We went up that trail.
And then there were some logs that you had to hit.
I pretty much cleared everything.
You got those logs first try.
Well, I walked over those.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I did do good on all the rocky stuff.
Good,
and
good.
everything. And I don't think I would have done as good on a 300 in that same
Yeah.
place.
I was riding a 300 up that. It did all right.
Yeah, well, you're a better rider.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, another one from Show 33. This is from Zach Davis. This is hands down the best moto show around. It's in our name, right?
Yeah,
Straight to the point, no speculating, and very informative. Always great to hear from you guys.
it's awesome.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Thomas says
Another one from Show 33.
Show 33. Cannot believe you guys are up to 33 shows. Absolutely love them. I would love to be sitting with you guys and having a conversation. Great group of guys. Keep it up.
No, he wouldn't enjoy it because all I do is somebody sitting around, then we're going to go get some work done, right?
Yeah, I think most people have the immersion broken for them when they go riding with you or when they work at your shop. And then when they go riding, we're stopping like every 5 minutes to film something.
We do.
When they're at the shop, we're working for like 12 hours.
Yeah, we do film some stuff. So
you see the coolest part online. So
Yeah.
just love that.
it doesn't get any better. So we did a video, really big one, 178 tips. Spencer worked on putting it all together. We shot it a long time ago. It just came out a few weeks ago. And this comment is from the Tile Man, 1984. So either he's born in 84 or he graduated in 84. I'm guessing. I remember this guy from back in the day. I don't remember where. He was some pro rider mechanic. No, I wasn't.
No?
Nope. But I was with Weisco going to all the nationals and supercrosses in the early, mid, and late 90s, in the 90s, which we have a lot of 90s content because there's two bikes behind us. We'll get into that. So I was at the races. Also, we have a Whiskey Throttle interview, the Whiskey Throttle show with David Pingree. We'll have a link to that. So if you want to learn more about the genesis of Jay Clark in the moto industry, you can listen to that.
To the Whiskey Throttle interview.
Yeah.
This is from the same big video, 178 tips. I would love to see someone take a KTM two-stroke pipe, see it vapor blasted, bring the finish back, especially near the header where it's the hardest to clean, try to figure out the best way to bring it back with the nickel plating without polishing.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So you can find a polisher. We in Southern California, so anybody that does chrome work, plating around where you live, they have a polisher guy. We have a guy named Geronimo in Southern California in Lake Elsinore. Guy's a master, and he's pretty reasonable on prices. It might be $40 or $50 to polish a pipe, and he'd get it all out. Now the downside is if you have nicks or dings in that pipe, it's not going to take those away on a chrome pipe.
No.
So that's your best option.
Yeah.
Or you can't. I have used chrome polish. Like wheel chrome polish, I'll put that on there, and then I'll use Scotch-Brite on the header part.
You gotta stay on top of it though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you gotta if you want to
On the plated ones.
Yes, on the plated ones. Yeah.
Okay, so next one is same video, the big one. It's 178 things. Great video. This is from Don Petrina.
Yeah.
Great video. Lots of tips. Thank you. Something I do in regards to the seat foam. I like this tip. Breaking down issue from water is to use thin plastic bag over the foam before I put the gripper seat cover on. Been doing this for years and the foam stays dry and like new. So I'm going to try this. We got to find
the next install.
Yeah, we have to find a good plastic to wrap around it. I don't know what I'm going to use.
What if you used like a saran wrap?
Possible. I'd like it to be one piece. And then
I also think it has to be somewhat flexible.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
with us
So if
sitting
somebody-
down on it, it's going to break it. It'll
Right.
tear.
If somebody has some ideas, he just said a plastic bag. I don't know.
I think we know the stronger, but
Yeah. So if you think of anything, you can let us know.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great idea because what breaks down the foam is that water. And
Yeah.
it just rots in there and it makes it softer. So it definitely does.
This is from How to Build Your Own Tire Changing Stand. That there is a video on our channel. It's kind of older of going over the dimensions and the specs that you can email us for.
They get that when they get that video, the link from me on email. They get that link to this email.
Gatto Flyer says, "Thanks Jay for emailing me the tire stand drawings. I built one. Did my first MX tire change the other day. Very satisfying doing it yourself. Cheers, bro."
Yeah, I haven't talked about the tire stand change on here a long time.
Yeah.
For to build their own. But if you have a buddy, an uncle, brother that welds, you can get these drawings and show them the video. And there's a couple video links in the email I send out. And there's a couple guys who've done different things. There's a guy that has a video on all the materials laid out. Makes it really easy.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, another one from 178 game-changing dirt bike tips. Human 1513.
He's human.
So I'm guessing he's not
Very human.
an android.
No.
Excellent video with excellent plain English explanation. My wife will be...
That's a great comment for someone with a human
Yeah.
their username. That's awesome.
Plain English.
Plain English. That's awesome. Okay. This is also from 178 Things. Johnny Midham says that IMS tank on the gas gas looks so good. Is that just painted?
No.
No.
That's a new color IMS has.
The gray with the speckle of black.
A blue. It's like a blue-gray mix.
With a little bit of like...
Let's throw a photo of it in here. But yeah, they come up with another color. So it's really cool. I really liked it. I thought it looked cool. Some people think it looks a little bit too much like pool equipment. I had some guys comment or whatever. I thought it looked pretty cool. Okay. Leaky carburetor, which we shot a new video for this. Because this video we have is really old. And it wasn't really clear exactly where we blew the air into.
Yes.
You're going to like this. Breaking the beat.
Yeah.
So I hit the carburetor, not too hard. I blew into the hose and it worked. No compressed air.
Really?
He just blew in it.
He's got some big lungs.
And so he pulled the hose off.
This was comment made by the big bad wolf. He blew in the carburetor.
And he unlocked the needle seat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
if it's on the trail, might as well try it. If you don't have an air compressor, you could try that.
This one's good. This
is 178 Things.
Who picked these?
I think you picked them.
Okay.
This is from Nikki's son, and it says, "We're lucky to have you, Jay."
Yeah.
How sweet.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
Okay, spoke maintenance. We just shot a video today on doing spokes. Yep. So we have one on Mountain Eagle 77 says, I cannot thank you enough for the detailed explanation. Excellent video. Thank you for not cutting corners and expecting your audience to just get it. So we do try to do that, to show you as if you didn't have any knowledge about it. So I hopefully that does help other people as well.
Yep. It's from Justin McCoy, and this video is 2 strokes are better than 4 strokes. Top 10 reasons why. Justin said the cheapest bikes in the marketplace are the 254 strokes. Nobody wants those S words. They blow, and the bike is worth $900. And a good running 25-year-old 2-stroke still goes for $3K. Clapped out one goes for $1,500. People still want them.
Can't argue with this. I think this guy, Justin McCoy, is right on the money.
Yeah.
So as much as I like 4-strokes, I like new 4-strokes, and you sell them before they get to that point.
And even the new ones, even now a 2020 4-stroke, if it's beat, it's not worth that much, right?
No.
Like at all.
No, it's tough. And the math to rebuild the engine can be very tough.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
It can be very tough. So it's almost better to ride it until it does go, and then you just sell it for parts for $1,500 or whatever you can get for whatever's left.
Sell it right before it blows up.
Right. It's terrible. But that's kind of where we're at. All right. So 25, we're going to bring this bike in later. This is our 25 Yamaha 450 FX mods. We did a part 2. And it says, I love my 24 FX. I haven't done the suspension yet, but I think that's one of the best things I can do in general to my bike. Yes, he's right.
Yep.
Can I ask Race Tech for your GP setting? Yes, you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you just say, hey, Jay Clark. Now, you need to be similar size and skill set. You've seen many videos of me riding, so that should help. And then the next one is, when I rotate my rear tire, lube, chain, wash bike, etc., the tire doesn't spin very easily and stops fast compared to other bikes I've had. Is this just a break-in thing, or is there a way to free it up? Well, it's an O-ring chain stock. And so my guess is it's the chain. So what I would do to double check this is you just undo the wheel, pull the chain off to the side. You can pull it off to the side, put your axle back in. Spin the wheel without the chain. You don't have to break the chain. You don't have to take which it doesn't have a master link on that bike. It's
riveted.
Right. So you can set the chain aside and spin the wheel, kind of tighten it up, get it, good and snug. Spin it. If it spins fine without the chain on, then it's just the chain.
Yep.
So that's how you can tell. That's really easy.
The other thing would just be the rear brake.
It can be dragging, but more like
that.
Also if the wheel's not straight.
Yep.
So make sure your chain block marks are
dialed in and
good to each other. Also, your chain's not too tight, and that it's properly lubed with some regular lube, like any type of multi-purpose lube like this works great. The blaster has some good stuff like that. So those are things I would check if you don't think your wheel's moving good enough.
Absolutely. Okay, this is from our 2 videos ago.
This is the video that got, I don't know if it's, tons of views, but it's got a lot of views, I guess, but not a ton, but tons of comments.
Lots of comments.
Guys from the 90s are very passionate. I guess because they're all 40 to, 50 plus, whatever, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's 1993
KDX
KDX 200
versus.
RMX 250. It's from Brian. Thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to more footage with these bikes. More raw riding footage would be great. Nirvana will always be epic, though, Jay. That one hurts a little.
Yeah. So this has been, and this was, I could just get to it right now rather than wait till the end.
Yeah.
It was going to be the CD choice.
Yeah, the CD choice.
So we revisited Nevermind, Nirvana's first album, kind of their biggest album. And then they have that In Utero. Okay. And then they have the Unplugged. And then it all ended, I think.
Yeah.
You said the music was mind blowing.
Yeah. They couldn't keep his head.
Right. Okay. So I've revisited. There's some good things about Nirvana in this, and it was different and all that. I liked it. I bought a couple of the albums that came out. I'm like, okay.
You own and
Had 2 or 3.
Nevermind.
Yeah, I think I might have both of those.
Both of them, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I was like, okay, but I think where I'm jaded is that it was
what it did.
It was it was one of the ones that really
The cause
hurt.
and effect.
It wasn't their fault.
No.
It wasn't like they purposely did
No,
it. But the
but
industry took note, and the industry looked away from 80s rock bands. And this is the new way. We're going grunge. And I don't pay attention to mainstream stuff nowadays, but how much grunge is still played?
Not a ton.
Not a ton of
Here's the
80s
thing.
rock is played.
They found the spectrum between, I would say, Nirvana's on this far end of the spectrum, and you have the 80s rock. And now it's like more stepped back a little bit of Alice in Chains and Shinedown. Shinedown has new stuff that's like, a little bit less grungy than some Nirvana stuff, but it's in this middle ground, right?
The Nirvana thing, looking back, I think it's just a little bit depressing. Well, we listened to it today, right? We listened to it, the whole album, pretty much.
Some of the songs are just, I would say some of the songs are just kind of weird, and I think that's what we're trying to do, be different.
And they're grungy. I mean, that's the problem. They are grungy.
Yeah.
So it's just so different than what I guess really mainly grew up liking. And now if you were, 10 or 15 years younger than me, they could really embrace it more. And so that's where this guy probably is. Brainstain?
Brainstain, yeah.
Brainstain.
Yeah, that's what it is, not Brian.
And he likes Nirvana.
Dude.
All right, so now we're going to go back to another comment on our shootout with the two strokes. This is from Joe the Blacksmith. I wonder what he does. If he shoes horses or just makes metal stuff. Great stuff. The KDX is definitely designed to be an Eastern wood style bike, and all time. He's had to have made an engine stand, right? If he welds, I would think.
Guaranteed.
Okay. Nice to hear the confirmation. I recently bought an RMX 250 for the mountain trails and casual motocross in the PNW. Do you know what the PNW is?
Pacific Northwest.
Good job. Yeah. The 90s were the last good era as far as I'm concerned. Great economy, big surge in artistic expression, other than the grunge, okay? Pro Moto was incredible. I can't argue with that. It was a really fun time for Pro Moto, although Pro Moto is pretty fun right now, too. I enjoy it. Other than when Jet gets on a roll, that can be a little bit boring. But that happened in the 90s. I mean, McGrath got on a roll. It was ugly. And,
over.
Yeah, it happened in the 2000s a bunch of times. Okay. The bikes were 90% of what the current stuff is, and it would be fun to see a comparison between the RMX and a current 250 EXC now. Okay, I can save you a lot of time. We don't have to have a comparison of those two bikes, other than if you were just saying that the RMX is, 3 times cheaper.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no comparison, because having electric start and a counterbalancer engine and the more power, smoother, easier to ride, you can't compare the two bikes. But, and this is going to be a common thread in here, what we've come up with, and there's some similar comments to this, is Spencer is, and I would agree, if I couldn't afford a new bike and I didn't have a new bike, we could have just as much fun, per se, riding these older bikes, which we've done, than a brand new bike, right? Yep. So if that's all we had, which we call these $3,000, $3,500 bikes, because you can pay $1,500, $2,000 for one, and then you got to fix it up, do the suspension, basic stuff, check the brakes, fluids, but you got to do suspension, maybe chain and sprockets, tires, that kind of stuff. You're going to add in another $1,500 real easy. So that's kind of where we're at with these. Oh, and by a side note, these two bikes are in Utah now, for those that are wondering.
Yep.
And we will make somebody a deal on one, as much as I'm talking about how cool they are, but we got to move on to our next projects. So, all right.
Dream Killer.
Yeah.
Same shootout video from Dune ATV. One of the highlights of my life was riding two-stroke dirt bikes through the 1990s. What a time to be alive.
I have to agree with you, Dune ATV. All right, there we go. All right, another one. Same bikes. These bikes are awesome. He says, this is Mr. Kips. I raced RMX 89 through 93. My son has 2 very well prepped KDX 200s for hair scrambles, with which trounce current beta 200s. I would love to fully prep. Oh, because he could probably go in a 200 class. I see.
Yes.
To fully prep an RMX 250 for him. But the power valves are no longer available, and nobody makes replacements, which is one of the reasons for using the KDX RMX 5-speed, KDX 6-speed. You noticed that 6-speed on your last ride.
Yes.
And did you get some footage so these guys can get some raw footage of these 2 bikes?
It's all vertical. So you will
could
see
put up
vertical footage of these 2 bikes.
Of the 2 bikes. We can make a YouTube video. I like this idea. We
already talked about it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we can get you guys some current footage. Spencer just rode both of these up here in the mountains, and we could have both bikes. Yes. It'd be cool. Okay.
And that's one thing about how cool these bikes are, is that if something does go majorly wrong with them, there's not a ton of parts for fixing, like the power valve.
Yeah, and
there's pistons and clutches and stuff.
I've heard that they can put RM250 cylinders on, which might be easier to find some of those
Try
parts.
to fix
I don't know.
Yes.
But that is a downside to older bikes. I mean, these things, guys, are surprised when something that's 30 years old, you can't get parts for it, but that's just unfortunately what happens.
Yep.
All right.
This is from the same shootout video.
Awesome.
WSL says, I had to check out this video because I bought an 86 KDX 200 back in 86. Great to see younger generations keeping these old 2-strokes in action, having so much fun on them. Moreover, Yamaha never giving up on the kickstart 2-stroke.
Okay, so if he considers me younger generation.
I don't know how old he is.
He's going to be pretty old.
Yeah, probably.
We was noticing yesterday that my hair, probably in about 2 years, I'll be fully gray. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Same one.
Same
Chris
video.
Alamongos. Is this a Chris from MXA? Yeah.
Alamongos?
Good. Yeah. Good. It can't be a ton of those.
Probably not.
I still got a KDX, awesome bike, but the seat completely sucks. You're right. They're too low and too slippery. So you do sit down in that saddle.
Yeah.
But that's what would make them good for some people, like beginner riders, teenagers, or short. That's what kind of helps.
And I just stood up when I did I did a big like 50 miles on the KDX. I was just standing up most of the day, because you're just like, just stand up, or when you sit down, you kind of like do further back positioning and stay on the back of the seat.
Okay, we got another one on that same deal. This is Des Racer. He says, you guys should start a series on early 90s off-road, only because there's so many motocross tests and hardly anything on the off-road and enduro tests. Here's one of the problems is most of the bikes aren't in good a shape like this. So these bikes were really low hours. So we didn't have to do a ton to make them good. Like I said, the stock suspension fluids and everything, I wanted to test these things. You can notice we didn't do a full project build with these things, but I wanted them to be fresh, good. Schmidt did the suspension, freshened them up.
Yep.
Made sure everything was good that way. Wanted to make sure the clutches were good, piston was good, that kind of thing. If somebody has in Southern California, especially, and maybe even up here in Utah at the right time, we can get you to ride it.
Yep.
We're not opposed to trying out some bikes, but we also don't want to try out bikes that need a bunch of work.
A WR 200 or 250. So many people commented on this thing.
Right. When we had these two
about their WR,
they go, "Well, you forgot," because I said these were the only 2 good trail bikes. You forgot the Yamaha.
The WR 200 and 250.
Yeah, 250.
There were some.
And
apparently they made an RMX, a KDX 250.
I mean, way before.
Not way before.
Later?
It was around the same
These guys
time.
are going to have to comment and tell us we messed up on that. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a KDX 250 for a couple of years, but
all right.
Larry Warner on the same video says you have to have someone port the KDX 200 and you'll be surprised how it holds up against the RMX 250.
Now, one of the things I noticed when we rode these bikes at Glen Helen at that 2-stroke race, just for fun, we were riding sweep. Spencer's passing me on the KDX. Mm-hmm. And it has such a unique sound. I could see how if you modified that thing pretty heavily with somebody that knew what they were doing, it would get even better. But it had such a cool, unique sound. It didn't sound like a big bore 125, but it didn't sound like a 250.
Yeah.
It just sounded so
real
cool.
Deep. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
All right, Justin.
You lost me at Nirvana. Oh, well, LOL. Dude, he totally missed the opportunity to go, you missed me at Nirvana. Never mind. Like, that would have been so much better. He's not really a Nirvana fan if he didn't just say that.
Right.
Come on.
All right. Larry Warner says, in all fairness, it should be about riding and having fun, not about which bike is better. I know I'm a Kawasaki guy all the way when it came to motocross and 3-wheeler area. So it's about making memories with friends and family. When it comes down to it, down to it for guys and gals. I can't, like I said earlier, that's what I think is. So if you can ride and have fun, we go out to many places and we'll put in some place, and then we go ride 30 miles away, or whatever, and come back. We've done 50 or 60 miles. We get back. There's people that never left within a mile of the truck.
Yes,
and they had tons of fun.
Yeah,
and so. It's just all about having fun, and that's what's good about dirt bikes, right? Like that feeling's cool.
So Rob, same video, he says, so what you're really saying is, Jay, you've gotten lazy and spoiled with electric start. My 99 300 EXC starts with one easy kick after I shut it off. I've upgraded suspension with more modern stuff. I like the 90s two strokes. I must say, nobody rocks over all the rocks quite like Spencer.
No, it says rocks the overalls.
Oh,
overalls.
Dude, that's so perfect that I'm wearing this.
I just messed this up.
Oh, you guys.
No one rocks the overalls.
Oh, I didn't even... Okay, I see what he's saying now.
Quite like Spencer.
Thank you.
I didn't tell you this one was coming, and you had him on anyway. We were doing a bunch of bike work today.
Boom. I wear them.
Hey, so in that video, it said this guy, the KDX Garage.
Yes.
Which bikes do you think he likes?
I don't know.
Okay, KDX Garage 3071. He says, thank you for the comparison. Perhaps it could help. It mentioned that the 93 RMX had a MSRP of $42.99.
Wow.
And the KDX was $32.49. That's $1,050 difference. So he's saying you could do more differences with that money, that $1,000 plus.
Yeah, I mean, KDX. That's pretty...
But what happens is that price deal is gone now. Yeah. So I don't know that the price thing matters 35 years later.
Not really now, because these bikes are about worth the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not like, the Suzuki's not worth $1,000 more.
If anything, the KDX is maybe worth more. Yeah. So one of those things.
You guys can vote on that comment if you think the KDX is worth more or the RMX.
It's like Leno's garage, where he has like the depreciation value of the bike.
So they both run good, both have new pistons, both kind of equally yoked as far as all that stuff.
Yep.
I would say the KDX maybe is in a tiny bit better shape. Tiny bit. But they're both pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
It's from Jay Giggs. I have an 89 RMX that is still in great shape, and I absolutely love it. I also have a 21 KTM 300 XCW and a 22 KTM 350 EXCF. Both are excellent bikes and what I ride. But I have the biggest smile on my face when I'm on my RMX. I'll break it out every once in a while for a dual sport ride. And every time I pull into the gas station, I get a lot of looks and compliments from other riders. It's a lifetime keeper. I gotta love those old two strokes.
Can't complain. I mean, I would keep them all just to have a ton of bikes. But the problem is it just creates so much work for us. And I can't keep up on, and we don't live in the same place, so we're back and forth. It's all I can do to keep all the gas tanks and pilot jets and everything cleaned up on the bikes we have. So I have to keep it down. And every fall, we're going to end up getting another bike or three to do stuff with, to have content with.
WR250 next.
Oh, gosh.
I'm kidding.
I don't know if I hope not.
Yeah.
All right. Hayden W says, this was a cool comparison video. I have a KX250 hybrid. He puts a KDX motor, which won't please the purist. He says that won't be good for those hardcore KDX fans. But it's such a fun bike. Starts first kick and is nimble. Some would say 200-ish is too small. However, it's a motor you can use 100% of the power. Really get on the pipe like you're killing pipe without killing yourself. So if you're not using all the power on your 200cc, you're lugging around the extra weight for.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's one good thing he's saying, man. You can use all that 200. It's the same logic that I'd ride a 250 four-stroke at the track rather than a 350 or 450 at the track.
And it's a lot easier to find parts for that KX 250 and chassis and frame.
Probably, yes.
Than to find stuff for this KDX. I mean, this KDX, the RMX is way hard, and then the KDX is still pretty rough. So
I wonder what year KX frame you put that in. I mean, there's probably only certain ones that would go in.
That would actually work, I'm sure.
You know what I'm going to try to get is a KX 500. I think I have this all sorted out. I'm getting, 94.
Why?
Because it's come up as a good deal. Really good deal. But I'm going to need a cylinder for it. I'm working on that.
So you're building my two-stroke race bike is what you're saying?
So I'm going to need that. It's going to be a long project. I'm going to work on getting this when I get back.
Probably like 4 years. Maybe my kid.
No, it won't be 4 years. But it'll be at least a year. We're going to work on getting this thing done. It'll be a cool build. So, but what I want to find for it, is an 8889 KX 250 fuel tank that's in good shape. Because the tank's a lot smaller than the
500 tanks.
The big 500 tank. So it wouldn't look as deserty. It would look more moto-y. Because we're never going to need more than a gallon of
You wanna
gas.
ride it more than 15 minutes?
Yeah,
That's my limit.
it could have a half-gallon tank and be fine.
Just put a water bottle.
All right.
Andrew Runner. This is on our dirt bike.
Brake bleeding. Bubbles.
Bubbles. Was that one? Yeah, it is. It is. Andrew says, thanks to the tip on tapping out those bubbles, I bled and reverse bled the front brake, but still had virtually no pressure. And by tilting the bike so the reservoir is as high up as much as possible, then doing the tapping, I got those pesky bubbles to come out, and voila, nice stiff lever.
Voila. Good job.
Yeah.
We're here to teach you.
Back on the KDX video, Jeff Davis says, I bought and restored a 93 RMX, so same. It was a fine motorcycle. Finding exhaust for was problematic, sort of hanging idle with issues. What do you use for the carb and RMX jetting numbers? Thank you.
So we messed with a couple things, and then we just used the JD jetting kit.
Yeah.
And solved it.
I think I went a little bit leaner
than what it recommended for the elevation.
Yes.
And it runs good, and so does the KDX. Both are jet. We didn't mention that. They're both jetted.
They're both really good
here.
now for up here.
And it wouldn't have to change very much for if you go down to sea level.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much. You would just do air screw.
Okay. It'd be a little rich, a little lean down there.
Yes.
A little lean, but not bad. I mean, it'd be fine as long as you're not going through sand washes and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, the JD jetting kit worked good on that bike. All right, so this is Pollock Rocket. It's his first bike I ever bought with my own money. Is a '94 ARM 250, and somehow I still own it. Weird, huh? And completely went through it all a few years ago. Powder coated, Cerakote, everything. That bike gets comments every time I take it out. I have a serious considered getting the X version as well to play around with. This was seriously a cool video to watch. Jay, thank you for helping keep the old school love going.
Did you see what I responded to him with?
No.
I told him that it's for sale and that he should email you. If I don't know where he's probably in Europe with Pollock Rocket, but I mean, yeah.
Okay. Now this is you like this comment.
The last one.
Yeah, it says this is from
Chicken Lips.
Chicken Lips. Oh my gosh, with no vowels.
No vowels. Chicken Lips. Hebrew.
I love it. The Dream Killer is back on the dark side, but I'm not truly. So I did the 2-stroke video. He thought I was on the wagon, but I rode the 4-stroke all day yesterday,
and I responded to this guy and said, "Not really. They're listed for sale now." So,
all right. So that was pretty fun. Let's talk a little bit of pro motocross real quick.
Let me pull up results.
Yeah, so pro motocross, yeah, it's not that big a deal.
Well, I wanted to.
No, you can talk about that.
My doing well,
because Spencer did really good. We started a fantasy league, so we're not running anything, but Rocky Mountain has a fantasy. We didn't do too much actively we played with it a little bit this Supercross.
Yep.
But now we made one for all of our followers to join in. We got like 100 or 200 people that joined in. You join in this group, and most of them are most of my friends, so we can see who does what.
Yeah.
But Spencer and my wife Sarah they both picked identically, and they're not even on the same area.
We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah. And they only missed the 7th place,
the wild card,
by 1 spot.
Yeah.
Right.
If Webb had done a little bit worse, then I would have gotten the perfect score.
Right.
But I got
that one right. That was one of the
you got the wild card right.
I got the wild card right.
I got 1st through 5th right.
And I got 5th place right. Yes. I got 7th and 5th. And that's on today's race at Colorado, by the way. And that was it.
Yep.
So you got everything else.
1st through 5th right, and then
missed it at 1.
Webb was going for it in second moto just a little bit more. So that's whatever.
Anyway, races have been really cool. Even though Jet's probably going to win everything, I think pretty handily. It's cool that AP pressured him really hard first moto, passed him. Eli's won a moto. These guys are on him. Yeah. So that's kind of nice.
And who knows if you get a mud race back east, random thunderstorm, right?
Yeah, Jet's pretty good in the mud too. He's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, but Aaron Plessinger's doing really good this year,
right?
And he's been shocking us with how.
I think it's kind of cool that AP's doing so well on the bike that the other guy on the team thinks isn't that good. Yes. So I think it's really cool. So I'm rooting for AP to do well on that bike now the rest of the summer because it'll show this other guy that the bike's just fine.
Maybe more of a mental thing.
Right. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's it. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to do a little set change a little bit and come back. In the meantime, we're going to play you the rest of that intro song. Listen to this thing. It's pretty dang cool.
Welcome to the only tech podcast that smells like race gas and sounds like freedom. That Moto Show. That Moto Show. on Saturdays. Stadium flame, but no quads or UTVs. We're not that lame. That Moto Show, tech podcast that rocks with Donnie and Jay. With Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer's there, giving the stare while talking torque, curves, and air fuel pairs. Two strokes, screamers, four-stroke, mic, carbs and fuel injection. Both feel right. Tire swaps in the dead of night. We got the tech tips that'll light your ride. Honda, KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and even Suzuki. Send us your questions. We'll do our best. You got a 33% chance. We'll ace the test. That Moto Show, tech podcast that slaps with Donnie and Jay. With Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer, ooh, brings the thunder. We break it down like a blown out fender. That Moto Show, crank the throttle, feel the flow. You're tuned into that Moto Show. Keep your chain tight and your dreams wide open. Catch you next time on that Moto Show.
Okay, we're back.
Back.
How cool is that?
So cool.
I'm going to read some of these, and then I think you should put up a little bit of footage of probably this Yamaha behind us, right?
Yep.
Because you got some horizontal of that
I
thing
do.
on the trail the other day. So, welcome to the only tech podcast that smells like race gas and sounds like freedom. That Moto Show, the tech podcast that rocks with Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer there to bring in the flair, talking about dirt bikes and pro racers all the way. That Moto Show, from enduro trails to supercross lights, we wrench, we ride, we live that moto life.
He does a good job on that part,
Yeah.
too.
Motocross madness and enduro terrain, dual sports dreams, dirt in our veins, supercross Saturday, stadiums flamed, but no quads or UTVs. We're not that lame. Sorry. It used to be. Okay, tech podcast that rocks with Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer's there giving us the stare, probably with those
Giving the
overalls on.
stare.
Giving the stare with those overalls on, while talking torque curves and air fuel pairs. I think they got off on that.
I'm not sure. That's like a race car term, probably. Some
Yeah.
F1 stuff, but yeah.
2-stroke screamers, 4 strokes, might, carbs and fuel injection both feel right. Tire swaps in the dead of the night. We got the tech tips that light your ride. Bridge, it says the Honda, KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and even Suzuki. Send us your questions. We'll do our best. You've got a 33% chance we'll ace the test. That Moto Show, tech podcast that slaps with Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer, brings the thunder. We break it down like a blown out fender. That Moto Show, crank the throttle, feel the flow. You're tuned into that Moto Show. Keep your chain tight, your dreams wide open. Catch you next time on that Moto Show. That's touching.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. How much time do we have in that? We don't want to tell people how easy it was, right?
No.
All right. It was pretty easy.
It's pretty easy.
But they're going to say, so if they don't like it, they're going to say, well, you spend some more time on it, make it better.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fun.
I thought it was good for what it was.
So we got a few little things to go over real quick. Our video is up. We have the 178 things, which we've talked about a ton already. The YZ450FX behind us. We have the part 2 video on our channel, and which we have a bunch of tech tips in that.
Yes.
Cutting chain, putting on the hydraulic clutch is in that one.
Yep.
What else?
Suspension, greasing the bearings,
Suspension,
chain
frame?
sprockets, and frame cutting or drilling.
Yeah.
On the not on the frame
Head
itself,
stays,
but on the
engine mounts in the front. And then Whiskey Throttle, Ping did a story on this bike.
The finished build.
We have links to that in our video. If you want to watch that video, it's really cool. We shot it out at Kauai. So that's it as far as the videos that are up. A couple of things I was going to touch on real quick was tariffs. Believe it or not, that's getting to
For dirt bikes.
I don't pay attention to news hardly at all. I just like live my life, and then all of a sudden people tell me that there's a bunch of things going on.
Yeah.
People posting on the Supercross account for certain months. They're posting stuff like this, and then there's tariffs going on. Well, I didn't know how much it was going to affect things, but Jamie at Twisted told me his latest order of ECUs had a huge duty fee. So they're going to have to pass this stuff on. So
yeah, well, it's
and I was talking to Vintco the other day. They have to raise their prices some on some of this stuff, and it's all different based on the shipping over. I don't know the total political things. I will say that it does sound a bit, the more I learn about it, it sounds like you and I can't go sell stuff in Japan very easily.
No.
I've learned, yes.
No.
Yeah, without paying a bunch of things or making it nearly impossible, right?
Yes, that's
so
the case.
If that's the case, I kind of have to agree. And if it helps some American manufacturing and some of that improve, I'm all for it. So we'll see what happens. And, but I do think that something's got to change because there's no real jobs left other than there's no manufacturing jobs, machinist, tool and die jobs, and plants that make things in the U.S. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Donnie's trying to call us. Let's hang up on Donnie. Okay, we'll get with him later.
Sorry, Donnie.
I'm
editing your show.
Tech time. We got a few questions here,
from
Spence.
Ethan W. Hey Jay, question for you about my chain. I wasn't paying attention. Accidentally took 1 to 2 more links out than I wanted. So I have to run my axle more forward from where I wanted to run the axle further back. Is the chain done, or can I add another link safely?
No, it's done. So when I say it's done, if you're going to be in dirt bikes a long time, pull that chain off and just save it. You'll find something someday that you can use it on.
Yes.
That's going to be that link.
Yeah.
You're going to find another bike. You're going to find something it'll fit on. And every time you have a bike over there to change, you're going to hope that one will fit. So yeah, adding in a link and having 2 master links is just then it's way too long and it's a mess. So we cut 1 link out of a chain today on this bike.
Yep.
We went from a 52 rear sprocket to a 50 because we think it's still too low. We went to a 14 front on this bike.
So now it's a 1450, which is just
stock is 1350.
So now it's just changing the front sprocket is all we really did.
Which you'd be able to run your stock chain if you wanted to. So we're going to test this out and report back. So if you guys are YZ450FX guys and you're riding in the tight mountain stuff or anything, this could be for you. So we'll find out.
Yep. This is from Brett C. I'm looking for a 1998 Suzuki RMX 250. Are they good bikes to do a rebuild on? Thanks again.
I got a 93.
Yeah. He said 1998.
Yeah, no, I got a 93 though.
Oh,
you can have,
Oh.
Okay. 98, yes, they're good bikes. But like we've already come up in this show, if something's broken, you could be in trouble.
You're limited.
Yeah.
You're very limited.
If it's running...
I would love to rebuild it, either the KDX or the RMX, but I've come to the realization when you look online, the amount of effort you have to go through to do eBay stuff, it's just not worth it. Yeah. And it's just not worth it.
So I would tell them if it runs and you know everything's there, or if you get a super deal on it, but you got to be careful on these older bikes because we heard that power valve's not available for that bike. So if the cylinder's down, broken, I'd be cautious.
Speaking of cylinders, Amir says, "Hey, what's up, bro? I have a
what up, Amir?
Yeah, I have a KTM 525 XC whose cylinder broke. I want to know if you recommend putting an iron sleeve in instead."
No. So you want to run, you could just get a stock cylinder and piston. You could find a used one on eBay cylinder that's Nicosil, that's plated. It'd be fine. Just run that and you get a piston from Wiseco or somebody that would be able to solve your problem. I think stock, you can only buy a cylinder and a piston together and they're probably well over $1,000. But if he broke that, chances are he needs to do a bottom end. It didn't just break.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to need to do a bottom end and some other parts, so he could have a big old bill here. I'm thinking he was not in this country. I remember this when I wrote him back. So he's in a tough spot.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It's from Seth H. Mr. J. I have a brake issue and question for you. I'm in Georgia and I race hair scrambles on my gas. The brakes always squeal when it gets hot. I run OEM rotor and pads. I recently replaced the rotor and pads. Still squeals like heck every time I touch the back brake. Have you had experience with this? And if so, what's the solutions? It's pretty annoying. Thanks.
Okay. So two things that come to mind. First one is dust. Okay, so I wrote him, and it does sound like it's worse in dusty conditions. And then when he wrote me back, it doesn't do it when he's in muddy conditions, and he's going slower. And the reason is, and when it's wetter or slower, because he's probably not dragging the brake. He's not going as fast. So I had him raise the pedal. He hasn't got back with me yet after he did it, but we run our brake pedal pretty high. And when I say pretty high, like really high. So you really have to get your foot up and get it on there, because if you have it level or just a little bit above level, you can be dragging your brake
and not noticing.
So you're overheating that thing, and that fluid's just getting smoked. That thing's so hot. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen it when you pull off, and that rear rotor, if you dropped water on there, it's just boiling.
I assume you asked him if he's bleeding his brakes, right?
Yeah. Okay. So fresh fluid.
He didn't mention anything about bleeding brakes, but bleed your brakes.
And it was a KTM bike, right?
That's gas.
Yeah, KTM. And so you want to make sure you have a good amount of play and that your pedal's pretty high. Let's do it. We could show a little video while I'm talking right here of one of our bikes, one of our KTMs, and just show the height and show how much play we have. Okay. So we run a decent amount of play. And so that way, if your foot is resting on it, you're not dragging the brake per se. So that's a big thing, because ours are so high that if we touch it, we know it. It goes whoop. You ever touched it by accident and felt it?
Yeah.
Stop.
On this bike yesterday. This bike has a really strong rear brake, and I touched it a couple times, and I was like, oh man, I'm on the brake.
Yeah. Then you realize, and you get off of it. But if you're slightly dragging it, you don't realize it. Yeah. And especially on a fast 4-stroke or you're not noticing it, and that's what eats it up.
Absolutely. It's from Beer Brake Enduro. Hey Jay, I love the show. You guys provide so much information, and I enjoy it. Keep them coming. I'd ask one more thing, if you guys could just do a few more minutes of music at the end. You always put me onto a few bands I've never played before. I always put my music on my video of my weekend rides. Thank you.
Okay, what we're going to do is play that song again at the end of the show.
Sure.
At the end of the show, the whole song for you, just for him. Okay. Yeah. And we talked about Nirvana. I'm sure he's already familiar with Nirvana. I will try to bring up some stuff that will help, some deeper cuts to get into some good stuff.
Something that we can talk, if we want to talk about music. And you're converting off of Spotify, but Spotify recently changed something. And if you have Spotify, you can try this, and it's kind of a coolish feature, is that you can talk to your Spotify AI DJ.
Yeah, that guy's been terrible like a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago was terrible. But recently, I talked to it, and I had it make me a deep cuts playlist of a bunch of 80s rock. And it did a decent job with deep cuts.
All right.
So, pretty cool.
What I don't like about it is you can't unlike something or thumbs down.
Yeah, so now you can totally adjust your playlist entirely and doctor it to whatever you want. So it actually works pretty good.
We still need to make a playlist for dudes like this guy did. So
that Moto show playlist. We'll work on that.
The only tech podcast that rocks. KTM was saved. By May 23rd, they have to have paid out, and India company bailed them out. So now India company, and there's a cool footage you see they posted, Swap Moto posted. They changed the name on the building.
They changed the sign. I saw that.
Yeah. So it was Pure Mobility, which is the guy that I think kind of got him into this mess, and he's ousted. I don't know how much he's still involved, but either way, now the KTM.
I mean, he relinquished his title.
Yeah.
So,
but somehow he's still making out just okay.
Oh, well, he's going to be fine. Right. But I mean, at the same time, he had some big ideas and underdelivered.
Yeah, what we should show is let's show a picture of my TX300. This was the carbureted one we worked on this winter a few times.
Yeah,
we tore it down together, and then we put the majority of it back together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's all done, and we've only shot the still photos with Dirt Bike Magazine. We haven't
tested it.
Yeah, we wrote it before we did the graphics and everything, and it ran awesome. Well, and we wrote it before we tore it down, but then TMR did the cylinder. We got some steps on that. We have a video coming out on that, don't we? Oh no, we're gonna make it a bigger video. Okay,
it might be a little bit.
Okay, so we're gonna have a TX300 video of some sort with kind of covering everything we did. But the bike came out amazing. We're gonna have this bike for a long time. We'll keep it, even though I said I don't like 2-strokes. They're fun in certain places, and I got a pretty good deal on the bike, so it's gonna be fun to have around. Yeah. So cool bike. So you can check that out. I think that's about it, man. Anything else to cover? Oh, tool time.
Yeah.
So this gun, we've showed this gun before. And we just bought this battery. How does? Oh yeah, right here. So this battery, we just got this battery. We added. My elbow's broken.
Okay.
Oh. Oof.
So it makes it much more usable,
and it's stronger and lasts longer, right?
Yes. Does it have more? It's huge. Yeah.
Does it feel stronger?
It feels about the same as yours.
Same, but it lasts longer.
But it lasts way longer. I mean, like I've used it for like 2 weeks and haven't charged it. So pretty good.
Did you paint the screen or was it green?
No, it's green from, wherever place I got it.
And were they all green?
No, they're all
different
color
colors.
coded. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What's the 10? What color is it?
Yellow?
Yellow. Okay. Our coloring system, we stopped it.
Yeah,
But I painted all
they all rubbed off.
Right. There's still some on there. But the red was 8s.
Mm-hmm.
And black was 10s.
Yes.
Orange was 13s.
13. Blue was 14 or 12.
No, blue was 17. Was the
Oh, yeah. 17.
We never do the 19 because we just knew it was the biggest one.
Yellow
and green were the
14 and 12.
12 and 14.
Yeah, I remember.
So that's why people do that, is to color code their tools, especially at a race stop. Like the guys that do Baja and stuff, they'll spray paint that stuff so that they can find it easy.
Very easy.
And even like, let's say their wife is up there or somebody helping, and then
give me the
red one.
Red one, yeah.
Yeah. They can yell, "Hey, I need the blue one," or whatever.
Yes.
They know they need the blue wrench, the blue T-handle, whatever. So that's a tip that guys do on that stuff. I think I saw that Ty Davis did that 30 plus years ago, on their stuff. So
it's a good idea.
Did we cover enough of the pro racing? Just that we just said that you did good this weekend.
Did good this weekend.
The next race is High Point.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I am gonna have to go and pick with Logic this time.
Oh, what? You're not a believer anymore?
I was hopeful, so hopeful.
He was. All today he was selling me on the Tomac stuff, and I was like, as much as I'd love it, because I really would.
Yeah,
I seriously would. But it's hard to bet against somebody who's in good physical condition and has a track record of winning every single race their rookie year.
He looks so good at times. I mean, even when AP was close to him, his technique is so good. It looks great on the bike. So, and he's got a lot of distractions going on, other stuff going on in his life and all that.
Yes.
And so he's doing it. And Deegan looks awesome. Today suffered a bad day. Went 2-2.
Bike was a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, if 2-2 is bad, that's pretty good.
And he has a big points lead.
He's got a huge lead, and with 250 class, it's who knows, like. A bike could blow up.
He has a 49-point lead over third and 25 over a second.
Yeah.
So second place, that's
Shimoda.
A full moto.
Yeah.
So he could miss a full moto, and Shimoda would have to get first in that moto to catch him.
Yes. And then Hymas is the next one.
And he's basically a full race down.
At
49 points.
A full weekend.
Weekend. So
yeah,
that's. But Deegan looks great on the bike there. I was surprised their bikes didn't seem faster at Colorado than they were. The Star bikes weren't up front.
No.
As much on the starts or anything, so that was a bit of a surprise.
I think we're also just seeing probably the 250s, like all the 250s in that class, getting closer, because 3 years ago those Star bikes were killing it,
and I think Honda Japan and HRC was like,
they figured out some stuff.
We're making this thing fast.
Yeah, they figured out some things that have got into the same level as these Yamaha's, and you can only get so much with sound and all this other crap, right?
Yeah.
Like they got some limits. So
yeah. All right, so check out our videos. Got the YZ450FX, tons of other videos to check out. Remember to send us the questions, and remember to use the companies we use. We have discount codes through our link tree, through our site. Email me your questions. People go, why can't I DM you? Because you can't, because it's too hard to respond back to you with my thumbs. So email me, it's way easier, and I can send you all the links you need. We have a Google Doc, right?
Yep.
That has a ton of links to past videos with common questions, things like that. So hope you guys like all that. We'll see you guys in the track or trail. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to the only tech podcast that smells like race gas and sounds like freedom. That Moto Show. Tech podcast that rocks with Donnie and Jay. With Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer's there, bringing the flair, talking dirt bikes and pro races all the way. That Moto Show, from enduro trails to supercross lights. We wrench, we ride, we live that moto life. Motocross madness and enduro terrain, dual sport dreams, dirt in our veins. Supercross Saturdays, stadium flame, but no quads or UTVs. UTVs. We're not that late. That Moto Show. Tech podcast that rocks with Donnie and Jay. With Donnie and Jay. Sometimes Spencer's there, giving the stare while talking torque, curves, and air fuel pairs. Two-stroke, screamers, four-stroke, mic, carbs, and fuel injection. Both feel right. Tire swaps in the dead of night. We got the tech tips that'll light your ride. Honda, KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and even Suzuki. Send us your questions. We'll do our best. You got a 33% chance